Hare Krishna. So today we are looking at the next verse, which is number 17, second chapter. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Avinashi tu tadviddi yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyyasyasya na kaschit kartum arhati. In the previous verse, Krishna spoke about the material cause being eternal. That is, whatever causes the universe to be created from scratch, like what was the raw material, that is eternal. And even before that, in the 12th verse, he said the jiva is eternal, that Bhagwan, that he himself is eternal. You remember that, right? The souls were all told to be eternal. People, all these kings, you, me, everyone are there for all time, he said. So what's the point of time for those who are there all the time, he said. There's nothing that's going to here among all of us here, no one is, there's no time when one of us is not going to be there also. Everyone is going to be there, he told. So now he even said about the nature or the material cause of this universe, which will also maybe reduce, change in form and structure, but it will remain. And that's what energy is. Matter is a form of energy only. So when matter is disintegrated, it becomes energy again. And energy is always a constant, it will always be there. So that is, after telling that, now he is moving on to the concept of other eternal entities which are there, all the, which are, pervading the entire space, and they are also eternal. So in this, just as we saw two meanings in the previous verse, here also there are two meanings. One of them is that all things that are pervading this entire universe, all things in the sense there are two or three things, like one is the varnas. Varnas means the alphabets of the, like a, e, u. All these alphabets, they are eternal. So this may be sounding very new to you. But what happens when we actually open a mouth and articulate a sound? The sound which comes out is a letter, but that letter is already existing. The articulation only happens at that time. Okay, this is one example I would like to say to understand this. See, on a paper, there are many dots on any plane surface. So these dots, they are, if you connect them into lines, then you get a picture. But the dots are already there. You're just connecting them to form that picture, whatever you want. So what happens, this basic thing is that alphabets are like that. They are always there. They're already there. But the moment when you articulate it, then that sound comes out. So these sounds which are which come because of the articulation of your vocal cords, they are eternal. That's what he says. Vedas basically here, varnas are all pervasive, and they have, it is believed that these ethereal sound vibrations are there always, and they are always present in all places also. So they're present in all places, and that's why when we do an articulation, the action of the vocal organs, it does not create that alphabet, but it gives expression and discloses and exhibits what remains embedded already in the Akashic record. This is what is told. So it will take time to understand this or even digest it. But let's take it as it is told here. Then the next meaning that they give for the same verse, Avinashi, means that which is immortal in one sense. That was what we saw in the Varna's case. But now the other meaning for this verse would be Avinashi means that which is perfectly immutable, means which is not changeable in any way. Always constant. Tu, but. So here that Tat means Brahman or Bhagavan. So this whole universe is pervaded by that being who never changes at any time and is never limited or destroyed in any way. Vinasham, it says, no? Sarvamidam tatam means who is pervading everywhere. Vinasham avyayasya asya means there is no destruction or limitation to this unconditioned being. And no one is competent to cause it any kind of destruction. Na kaschit kartum arhati. No one can ever cause any kind of limitation or destruction to this unconditioned being. These are the two meanings that are given by Acharya Madhva for this verse. So we had already discussed what is about souls. Then they told God is also eternal. Then they told the primordial matter is also eternal. Now he is giving the instance of the alphabet and space as further examples. Because that's like a general, that whatever is a universal pervader, that is also indestructible. So in this verse we can understand that all sound sound which is giving rise to a ethereal vibration, sound vibration is pervading all space and it exists always. And the second is time. Time is not in that sense because time can be differentiated in as a means, like this was constructed at this time, then it was destroyed at this time. So then but time actually is also eternal, but by giving it a kind of reference points, we get divisions, and those divisions are past. They are finished, like 10 seconds, okay, that's done already. 20 minutes is already done. But actually time, if you take it directly, like as a without differentiating in this manner, then it is eternal. So but here these are all the eternal things that are there in the world, and this Brahman or God pervades all these any existent things that are there. And one more thing they are telling is that none can cause any kind of harm or destruction or change to that personality. So that is the important fact that we have to understand here, that the tatam word here, it just does not tell that he is pervading everywhere. It also tells that he is pervading everywhere at all times and in limitless perfection, which is only applicable to him. The limitless perfection, how they explain it is, see, in the types of imperfections that we see in the world, if we look at them, there are 4 types broadly. Out of that, first one is change. So if you look at a person or a body, it keeps changing. Any tree, any plant, even the mountains and rivers are not the same at all. So they keep changing. Then there is even though the jiva is not that type changing, the body is changing. No? And then there's a destruction to the body also. So that is the second one. First is change. Second one is body destruction. Third one is they are subject to joy or sorrow, and they undergo sufferings, which is called as dukkha prapti. Then they may be imperfect in many other ways, in the way they are able to recall, in the way they want to, complete a certain task, but they are not able to do it. So there are so many imperfections in our own selves which we know for certain. We don't want, I don't know why I shouted like that. I don't know why I did this. We do say such things quite very often. So these are the imperfections that they're talking of. But any of these 4 types of imperfections, they actually encompass all the others. So these 4 are broadly told, and these 4 do not ever I mean, they are not at all like a part of what is described of as the perfect being. He does not have any limits and he is perfect. So perfection in that sense where you don't have any of these limitations or doshas. That type of perfection and presence, omnipresence in all places. So omnipresence in all places and times. That is the description of that Brahman or God given here. Hare Krishna.